Welcome to this explainer. The 2026 FIFA World Cup knockout stages have given us just a massive amount of match data, shifting player rankings, and absolute sheer drama. If you've been following this expanded 48-team tournament, you already know it's been a total roller coaster. So today, we're going to cut right through the noise and look exactly at how we arrived at our Final Four. Okay, let's dive right into this with a question that honestly perfectly captures the pure chaos we've witnessed on the pitch so far. Who genuinely predicted Norway eliminating the five-time world champions, Brazil? I mean, nobody saw it coming, yet the Norwegians actually pulled off a historic 2-1 upset. It really set the tone for a knockout phase where traditional powerhouses were pushed to the absolute brink, and where sheer willpower often triumphed over historic pedigree. Here is our roadmap for today. First, knockout chaos and upsets. Second, veterans defying the odds. Third, the next generation rises. Fourth, midfielders and goalkeeping greats. And finally, number 5, the Final Four showdown.
Section 1, knockout chaos and upsets. We're talking wild swings in momentum.
We've experienced some totally wild swings in momentum over the last couple of weeks. Just look at the sheer scale of the drama here. You've got Yuri Tillemans scoring in the 125th minute for Belgium, literally the latest winner in World Cup history, just breaking Senegalese hearts. Then you have England going down to 10 men, but somehow surviving a relentless late onslaught in that high-altitude pressure cooker of the Estadio Azteca to edge out co-host Mexico 3-2. And of course, defending champions Argentina staring down the barrel of a shocking exit, only to mount a furious 3-2 comeback against a really resilient Egypt side in the final 14 minutes. Incredible stuff. But, behind all these wild stats is raw human emotion. Egypt's coach Hassam Hassan masterminded his nation's very first knockout win earlier in the tournament, but their historic run ended in a heartbreaking and pretty controversial 3-2 defeat to Argentina. Afterward, Hassan expressed that he felt aggrieved at what he perceived as injustice and alleged favoritism in some of the decisions. Now, whether you agree with him or not, it really highlights the razor-thin margins and the incredibly high emotional stakes of this tournament. One whistle, one single moment, completely changes history.
Section 2, veterans defying the odds. Legends under pressure.
So the crucial point here is that despite their age, veterans like Lionel Messi and Harry Kane remain the absolute pulse of their nations, constantly pulling their teams through immense pressure. At 39 years old, Messi is somehow still breaking records, scoring in his 9th successive World Cup game. When Argentina was trailing Egypt, he just shifted out to the right wing, provided these flawless crosses, and directly engineered that comeback. On the flip side, Harry Kane has been just as vital for England. He's drawing defenders to create space, selflessly assisting Jude Bellingham, and burying these incredibly high-pressure penalties, like the one that got 10-man England over the finish line against Mexico. The psychological weight these veterans carry is just staggering. I mean, after missing a first-half penalty against Egypt, which was actually his second penalty miss of the World Cup, the pressure on Messi was astronomically high, but he responded like a true champion. He described his ensuing goal and Argentina's survival as a moment of release. It's a great reminder that underneath those alien-like statistics, the mental fortitude required to lead on the world stage is absolutely immense.
Section 3, the next generation rises. Explosive young stars.
Now, contrasting that steady brilliance of the veterans is an explosive new generation taking this tournament by absolute storm. Just look at the unbridled rise of Spain's Lamine Yamal, compared to Jude Bellingham's almost a Zidane-esque control of the midfield for the Three Lions. Yamal is making history simply by stepping onto the pitch. He broke the record for the most World Cup appearances before even turning 19. Opposing teams are literally designing specific game plans just to contain him. Meanwhile, Jude Bellingham is thriving in the biggest moments imaginable, scoring a sensational brace against Mexico in the total hostility of the Azteca. That showed a level of maturity that makes him arguably the best big-game player in world football right now.
19. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the mind-blowing number of World Cup goals France's Kylian Mbappé has now hit in as many matches. He bagged a brace against Sweden and then coolly settled a highly ill-tempered clash against Paraguay right from the penalty spot. We are watching a player systematically rewrite the history books in real time, guys. At this rate, the records he sets might actually never be broken.
And returning to our opening question, Erling Haaland is exactly why Brazil is going home. He just completely overwhelmed the Brazilian defense, surpassing his old Premier League rival Gabriel, and cemented his status as the ultimate giant killer of 2026.
We simply can't talk about this new generation without highlighting Holland's sheer power and clinical finishing that sent Norway into the quarterfinals in truly historic fashion. Section 4, Midfielders and Goalkeeping Grades. The Tactical Game Changers.
For the hardcore fans and fantasy managers tuning in, let's look at the highest valued string pullers in the tournament. These prices totally reflect their tactical output. Bruno Fernandes is just a creative monster, generating almost double the chances of literally any other player. Francis Michaelis has translated a phenomenal domestic season into absolute international dominance, while Yamal's $10 million valuation reflects his status as a constant, massive point threat. These are the guys completely dictating the tempo in the final third.
But aside from the fantasy picks, Spain's Rodri has been delivering an absolute masterclass in positional awareness. He is the true anchor of the Spanish machine. In matches against top-tier opposition like Portugal, he made it virtually impossible for them to build attacks through the center. His ball control and accurate passing basically dictate the entire rhythm of the game, proving that sometimes the most important player on the pitch is the one quietly controlling the geometry of the field. Now, on the defensive end, these unsung heroes literally kept their teams alive. Paraguay's Orlando Gil topped the tournament with an astonishing 23 saves, including a seriously heroic penalty shootout performance against Germany. But then, look at Lawrence Atizigi from Ghana. Despite playing only 135 minutes before having to leave due to injury, he recorded an incredible 2.91 goals prevented. He was statistically the most effective shot stopper in the tournament, proving how goalkeeper in the zone can pretty much single-handedly alter a nation's destiny.
And here is just a staggering statistic: 609. That is the consecutive minutes Spain's Unai Simon has gone without conceding a single World Cup goal. Spain has only conceded once in their entire 6 matches, and that was against Belgium. Simon's excellent positioning, game-reading ability, and clutch saves have well and truly cemented him as the top-ranked keeper of the tournament so far.
Section 5, the Final Four Showdown. The ultimate clash of the Titans. Let's bring it all together. Our first semi-final on July 14th is a massive heavyweight bout. You've got France's lethal pace and an impenetrable center-back pairing of Dayot Upamecano and William Saliba. And they are going up against a Spanish side riding a historic 36-match unbeaten national record, relying on Laporte and Cubarsí in defense, and Rodri's elite ball control in midfield. It's basically the ultimate unstoppable force in Mbappe meeting an immovable object in Spain's collective possession game. The second matchup on July 15th pits England against defending champions Argentina. The three Lions are flying high on the back of this record-breaking Kane and Bellingham partnership, actually the first England duo to ever score 5 or more goals in a single World Cup. They face an Argentina team that just keeps finding crazy ways to survive, led by the clutch gene of Lionel Messi and the timely heroics of Christian Romero. It's a rematch totally dripping with historic World Cup rivalry, and you know it promises absolute fireworks.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Out of these 4 incredible squads, whose tactical brilliance and sheer willpower will ultimately reign supreme? Will France or Argentina establish a modern dynasty? Will Spain's unbeaten machine just keep rolling on to glory? Or is football finally coming home for England's golden generation? The stage is set, the world is watching, and history is literally waiting to be written. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the data and drama of the 2026 World Cup.